hasn't been clickbaited. And if all you care about is seeing me eat a boot, go to the timestamp on the screen. Thank you and have a lovely day. But beware, not everything is what it seems. Hi, welcome to my post-Halloween depression, otherwise known as November. Let's talk about the real nightmare before Christmas, the nightmare after Halloween, Thanksgiving. So I've never really liked Thanksgiving. It's never really been one of my top holidays by any measure. I've always found it to be kind of boring. But then always they would talk about the Pilgrims, and if you do any sort of research on them, you'll find that they were very awful people and committed some pretty heinous crimes against the Wampanoag tribe. Genocide and murder. Yeah. So, screw the Pilgrims. We're not going to talk about them, and they should not be honored. If anything, I would love to learn a lot more about the Wampanoag tribe. If you have any more information about them, shoot me a message, let me know in the comments. I would love, hopefully maybe next year, to do a video where I try some of their traditional dishes. I do not want to attempt them myself because I don't want to pull a Rachel Ray and be disrespectful, so if anyone from the Wampanoag tribe wants to make me a dish for me to try, I would love to try your food, and I think that they are the ones that should be honored, not the Pilgrims. For now, let's focus on what the holiday has evolved into, what people really care about: food. As you well may know, turkey and mashed potatoes were not on the first Thanksgiving dinner table, and in that light, I thought it might be fun to recreate some more eccentric Thanksgiving meals from TV and film. So let's head on over to the Witch's Kitchen. Hi, and welcome to Witch's Kitchen. For the first meal recreation, we're going to recreate the Peanuts Thanksgiving special meal. Now, I've been slaving away all day in the kitchen. It's a very, very difficult to make meal, but it's finally finished, so now I'm gonna show you. Here we have our soon-to-be buttered toast. Perfect. Our popcorn. Our pretzel sticks. And finally, the thing that took the longest to make, jelly beans. Now, while baking, these got a little bit warped and turned into Mike and Ike's, but they'll still work. Obviously, I'm just kidding. Actually, the reason I decided to recreate the Peanuts Thanksgiving special, not only because it's a classic, but because I feel like it would be a fun one to do with your kids. Most of the stuff is already ready to go, as you can see. And then for the stuff like the toast and the popcorn, might require some parental supervision depending on how old the kid is. But other than that, it's already ready to go and super easy to make. And now, on to dessert. Now, when Snoopy was preparing this meal for the Peanuts, he had the popcorn and toast and everything else, but last minute on the table, you see that there are these pink sundaes. Where did they come from? We did not see him preparing these, so we have no idea what's in them. One can only assume that it was ice cream, and that's a great choice, and when you're doing this recreation at home, that's what you want to do, feel free to. I wanted to get a little bit creative with it though, especially since I want to recreate it exactly like how it is in the cartoon, and I want to have the whole spread out, not just the sundaes. And if you use ice cream, you're going to have to wait after you're done eating all the other stuff, otherwise it's going to get melty and all over the place. Plus, I want this to be a very kid-friendly recipe or kid-friendly recreation. I know when I was a kid and it was Thanksgiving, I always wanted to help out in the kitchen, but my mom would always be a little bit hesitant. She didn't want me to get hurt or make a mess. This is super easy. We're gonna use some snack packs, some vanilla pudding. Those are my favorites, and I actually really like eating them cold. Like, I'll leave them in the fridge, and then it's kind of like a not ice cream, but ice cream substitute. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna peel open your snack pack, and you're gonna spoon it all the way out into your sundae cup. Now, if you're able to find strawberry pudding, then feel free to use that if that's just easier for you. I could not find any strawberry pudding. They usually have that unicorn one at Target, but they didn't have it this time. But I prefer vanilla pudding anyway. So now, to give it that pink hue, we're actually just gonna add a little bit of cherry juice. Because of course, just because it was pink doesn't mean necessarily it was strawberry. It could have been, it might have been cherry, just like I'm doing. That's the power of cartoons. You can be as creative as you want. Just mix it up. gotta really mix it in so the color is everywhere, not just in one spot, especially if you're using just cherry juice. However, you can also use food coloring if that's just easier for you, and if you just want it to be vanilla flavored. And if it's still not looking the color you want it, again, you can always use food coloring. I also think another great idea would be to use some Nesquik. I just don't have a big bucket of Nesquik around with me, and I don't really drink Nesquik with my milk anymore, but if you have some, that's also a great idea to use. And there you go. Once you really mix it in, a spoon works fine, but you can also use a chopstick. I think that might be easier, especially if you have a smaller container. All that's left to do is to add some whipped cream. Gotta shake it up first. Yay! And you're gonna grab a cherry and put it right on top. And there you go. You have your pink sundae from the Peanuts Thanksgiving special. And that's our dessert. And now for the real challenge. All that Charlie Chaplin and his friend had to eat in the gold rush was an old shoe. How, you may ask? Well, Charlie Chaplin, ever the perfectionist, had his production team make 20 shoes out of licorice. Yes, you heard me right, edible shoes. And that's what we are going to be attempting here today. I have my favorite pair of red boots inside this plastic bag. We're gonna try to recreate it out of edible items. How? I have no idea. And full disclosure, Charlie had his made out of all black licorice, and from what I heard, it gave the whole cast some pretty hardcore laxative effects, and I'm not trying to do that. Also, I've heard some pretty here and there, maybe toxic effects of black licorice if you eat too much of it, so I'm gonna just use an assortment of candies and other sweets I found at the grocery store and see how we can make that work. Let's do it. So let's go ahead and get started. If there's anything I've learned from watching all these baking shows on Netflix, is that when in doubt, turn to the Rice Krispie treats, or cereal treats as they call it. So I think this would make a good base for it, because I'm not entirely sure how Charlie's production company got the licorice to like stay. They must have like had it professionally made so it was like stiff enough to look like shoe leather. I have no idea. So I got fruit roll-ups, so we're gonna hope that works, because, you know, fruit leather. Because I don't know where to find sheets of licorice, and I honestly have no idea how to make it, and I didn't want to burn my kitchen down, so we're really just winging it. So I'm so tempted to eat this, but we're not gonna eat it right now. We're gonna eat it when it's all... It looks so tasty. So what I'm doing is I'm creating the skeleton of like the top part of the shoe first. And later on, we're going to be making a sole out of cookie dough. Which, well, obviously it'll be a cookie, and that's what we're gonna set the actual, like, skeleton on top of. So far, that is the plan.
Mr. Glasses!
You recording?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So, we don't want to bore you, so we turn the camera off for a sec, but we rolled out the Rice Krispie treats so that they're thinner and better to work with. So molding it wasn't really working out for me, just freehanding it, so wrap this plastic bag all around my boot so that I can just start kind of shaping over it. Because I feel like that might just be easier. Periodically you're gonna want to go wash your hands because it's gonna get too sticky. to even like move your fingers. So yeah, fair warning. I'm gonna open these toothpicks. I think I'm gonna start adding some of those. This looks like a weird science project. So as you can see, we have finished coating our Rice Krispie treat base with fruit roll-ups. I might actually add some on the side. That is to be determined after we do our next step, which is going to be to use this cookie dough to form a sole for the shoe, basically a bottom. And I'm gonna bake that next. As you can see though, everything looks pretty good here. I'm actually quite impressed with how it's turning out. I legit had no idea what I was doing. But I really like these like pull apart Twizzlers. They really look like shoelaces. I'm really impressed. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of just show you what we got. Here's the side of it. Back of it still needs a little bit of work, but I'm gonna fine tune that once we're done baking our cookie. But yeah, here's what we got. All right, it's time for the moment of truth. Time to remove this from the plastic. You gotta be real careful so it doesn't lose its shape. Okay. We did it! And we're back. So, as you can see, the boot is finally done. It took a sec for me to figure out how to make this thing, and the camera died, so I was going back and forth between the camera and my phone. So the footage will be a little weird, but it's there, so you can see the process as I came up with it. So once I removed the shoe itself out of my actual boot that I was using as like a mold of sorts, it kind of started to fall apart because the Rice Krispie treat got a little heavy with all of the fruit roll-ups on top of it. So I had to just insert a bottle in there. Just, you know, like when you get a new shoe, they have that like cardboard thing so that the shoe keeps its shape. Let's just pretend it's that thing. It's just a bottle of pomegranate juice. Yeah, so then I painted it. Did not have a brush. I started trying to use a little spatula, that was not effective. So I just finger painted, and obviously wash your hands before you do that. But I found that to be a lot more effective in getting all the little corners and like folds of the shoe. So, you know, finger painting is the way to go, I think. Just make sure you wash your hands. What else did I do? Oh, the cookie. So it did work. The only thing is I would maybe get a different kind of cookie because sugar cookies were very soft, and even though I let it cool down and everything, it was still very soft. So when I was trying to put this on top of it and like make sure it was all in the same area, like it started to fall apart a little bit. So not sure how it's gonna go when we actually do the recreation of the clip. It might fall apart, but at least we tried. Other than that, I built the side part, the sole, and I did this with those pull-apart Twizzlers that I had gotten for the shoelaces. You can see that. Yeah, so those were pretty easy to string. Actually, I thought the fruit roll-up was gonna rip, but it ended up being pretty strong as long as you like slowly string it in, like if you were trying to thread a needle. That worked out the best, I think. To give it more of that like shoe like feel on the top, I just started kind of like pressing on the Rice Krispie treat along with the fruit roll-ups, and it got its shape. So it was a journey, but it worked out. I think it looks pretty good. I actually showed my parents when I was done, and they legit thought I had a shoe in my refrigerator. So hopefully it'll look even better in black and white, because black and white helps you cheat a little bit. So yeah, we'll see how that looks. I'll see you on the other side. Hey everybody, we hope you enjoyed our recreation of the Thanksgiving meal from The Gold Rush by Shirley Chaplin. So, as I promised, I will be eating a boot, and like, our respective characters each had their thing that they eat. So I ate the sole of the shoe, and he ate the actual boot part. So now we're gonna switch and actually try the other thing. So,
Yes.
go ahead.
I'll do a little reverse.
Now, reverse it and actually give me the boot. And you do have to like suck on the toothpicks just like I did.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll just use it as like a little skewer.
Fun fact, stuffed it with the bag so it would keep its shape. Has a vast array of flavors.
Yeah.
So like, the tanginess of like the fruit roll-up thingy. Like you can't even taste the icing, the black icing I colored it with. It's all fruit roll-up, it's super like strong, and then you get like the more savoriness of the Rice Krispie treat. It's actually really good. It's just like not what you expect.
Yeah.
Usually when you have Rice Krispie treats, you have something even sweeter on top, and it's like too much sweet.
Yeah.
But no, this actually kind of works.
The cookie's okay.
Yeah. I would say if anything failed, the cookie failed miserably.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it tastes like a shoe, so. Actually, no, it doesn't. It tastes better than a shoe. But I'm glad my character stole that, because when I took a bite, I had to hide the joy in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh, it's Rice Krispie treat and a freaking fruit roll up.
Those are your favorite like school lunch like snacks, right?
Yeah.
This is tasty.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed
Don't
this
worry.
little behind the scenes look.
We're not gonna eat all of it right now, obviously. That's
I will.
not. No, that is not healthy. You're gonna get a stomachache.
Oh, just like Charlie Chaplin.
Alright, guys. Thank you for joining us. We did it! We recreated and ate all the foods! And now my sugar coma is starting to set in. So I'll see you all later. I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving with your families and think of all the things that you're thankful for. I, for one, am thankful for all of you. And I would be ever so much more thankful if you would hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. And why not? While you're at it, give me a side of mashed like button. See what I did there? I'm dumb. I'll see you later. If your kids are going to be doing this, they will require adult supervision. But yeah, they start popping everywhere. Ah! Now I'm doing it just like Snoopy did it. Alright, I'll see you later.